Good morning, afternoon, night, evening, everybody that's watching. Today we're going to be doing another beer video. Got myself 2.5 gallons in the pot boiling here. And today we are going to be doing a Brewer's Best Sour Pineapple Tart Sour Ale. Has difficulty of easy, so that's good. And from work, I managed to get a few pineapple. Ooh, that one's not good. A few pineapple tops. So we're gonna go through some of these, cut off some of the fruit that's still on it, and put it into a bag when we start boiling everything. So what comes in the Brewer's Best box that I ordered? You got your crushed Pilsner malt, and you got your bag to put it in. You got your priming sugar that comes in during bottling and such. Yeast, nutrient, first time I've seen that. Lactose, a Philly sour lactic acid, dry malt extract, 2 different types of hops. We got German, Blanc hops, Azaka hop, and then we got our pineapple fruit kicker. And like I said, I got some actual pineapple from work I cut out. So I'm going to put some of that just in a cheesecloth, and when I might even just save that and put that in with the crushed malts to get a little more pineapple out of it. So the water has reached 152 degrees, which is within the steeping range of what the grain bag needs to go into. So I turned the heat down just a little bit so it doesn't start to boil over. So what we're going to do is we got my bag of grain here. Got a little knot tied into it. And I got the pineapple slices, the meat I was able to get off of those tops. So we're just going to set that in here. Tie it to the handle so that it doesn't go anywhere. So that's how it's just going to sit for a while. Those grains are just going to soak up and let all of their extract out, and our water will become wort after a while. So we're going to let this steep for about 20 minutes. So my timer never went off because it never even started. So I really don't even remember how long it's been in. But what we're doing now is we just pull this basket, or the that out, let it drain. We're gonna increase the temperature, get this boiling, and then we're gonna start adding in our other stuff. The water is now a little bit, it's much cloudier than it was because of all the juices that came off of the bag of grains. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this get to a little bit of a boil, and we're going to add in our dry malt extract, our fruit flavoring, pineapple, and the lactose bag. Get that all stirred up. So just waiting for this to start boiling. Starting to get a little bit of a boil going in here. There we go. So you don't want it to be a roaring boil. As the directions say, you want a nice gentle rolling boil, not roaring. So I think that's pretty good. So we're going to start adding in all the ingredients. So the first thing we're going to add in is our 3 pounds of dried malt extract. That's this guy here. Dry ingredient, obviously, as the name would imply. Just gonna add that, and we're just gonna stir. Next, what we're gonna add is we're gonna add the that down the trash. Next thing we're gonna add is our pineapple fruit kicker. The directions say to continuously stir to prevent this from crystallizing on the bottom and burning. So we'll stir this all in. Dry malt extract and the fruit kicker are in. We're going to add the 1 pound bag of lactose. And same thing, we're just going to stir it all in. Make sure everything's in there, not on the bottom. All the little dry ingredients aren't clumping together. Then we're going to let this boil for 30 minutes. And then start adding in the hops. So we're going to not do a cook timer, we're going to do just our regular on the stove timer. So this is roughly a week after we put it into the glass carboy here. As you can see, there's still some residue and we got some bubbling. So it's still fermenting in there. And our little airlock is poofing out, if you will. Some CO2 once in a while. Not letting O2 in, but letting CO2 out, which is exactly what we want. So this should be oh, excuse me. So this should be ready to go in a week to bottle. Been boiling for a bit, so now it's time to add our hops. First is the Germanic, I can't pronounce it, Blanc hops. So that'll be the first one we're going to add in there. At 12:15. So we're going to stir that in. Help them hops pellets break up a bit. And we're just going to let this boil for 15 minutes. Then we're going to add the other package of yeast, or of hops, not yeast. Alright, so it's been 15 minutes. As you can see, our hops is all up in, mixed up in this and all up in there. So it's time to add our second hops, which is the 1 ounce pack of Azaka, A-Z-A-C-C-A. Give that a shot. But we'll add these hot pellets in. So we got this all stirred up here. And we're going to set the timer and let this go for another 15 minutes. So we got all the hops in there now. We turned off the heat. What we're going to do is we're now going to take it and actually put it over in the sink and add in some of other stuff and start the cool down process. Alright, so what we got here is I got my sink plugged and I got as cold water as possible going in around it to cool it down. You want to get this as quickly as possible down to 70 degrees. But as that is filling up and cooling, we're going to add the yeast nutrient pack. Alright. So we got the yeast nutrient pack in here now. I'll stir that up a bit. We're not going to add any water to this to cool it down. We're just going to cool around the outside. So what we're going to do is actually put it over on this side. Basically what's going to happen is as the water in here fills up, it's just going to drip over into the other side, drain out, so I'm not overflowing onto the floor or nothing. So there we go. This is what's going to happen for until I can get this down to about 70 degrees. And it's, let's see what the temperature is currently. Ooh, that just shot right up, obviously, because it just came out boiling. We're about 175 degrees. We got quite a ways to go to get down to the temperature that it needs to get to before we transfer it over to our bucket and set it aside for a week. The wort now is about 72 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer the liquid into this 6-gallon bucket down here and fill it up with clean water. Take a alcohol reading with the hydrometer here, and then we are going to add our yeast, cap it off, and set it aside for a week. So let's get going. So you don't want to put the tube here at the very bottom because you're trying to get as little of the heavy sediment on the bottom into your bucket. So I finished up transferring, and all that right there is all the sediment from the bottom that I didn't transfer over. So what we're going to do now is fill up our pail. I got a mark in here somewhere. Oh, right there. Right in here. Just a little teeny mark. That's 5 gallons. So we're going to fill that up with fresh water and go from there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this hydrometer here and we're going to dunk it in and get ourselves a reading for the current alcohol, or the current alcohol, I don't know, current alcohol content, I guess, the OG, original gravity. And we're going to write that down here. And then we're going to do the same thing again when it's bottling day, which will tell us roughly how much alcohol is in. 1.53, so we're right in the middle of what we want. 1.053, not 1.53. 1.0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our yeast, which is this Philly sour. Add that in there, take out our hydrometer. We're going to clean that off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our paddle that we had been using, give that a quick rinse, give it a good stir. Stir all that yeast in there, and then we're going to take it and basically put it over where the other beer is and let it sit for a week. And in a week's time we're going to bottle that other beer and we'll transfer this into that glass carboy at that point. So that's going to be it for today. So what we got here today is I cleaned off all these bottles last night. I did 2 washes. One was just Dawn water, hot, very, very hot water. And then I did an acid wash on all of them. I got my sour beer here ready to go. We got some floaters. We got some little floaties in there. So some of these beers are going to have some stuff in them. That's alright. I got my bucket ready to go. Same thing as the bottles, 2 washes. And I've started my sugar water. That's going to go into the bucket, mix in with the beer, help the fermentation for the final week. This is going to be in there, and going to be good to go from there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to move the beer from here into the bucket just with a tube. I was a little disappointed. There's not too much in terms of carbonation that appears to have taken place in here, but we'll find out what the beer content of it is when we get it all in the bucket. So now I have all my beer in my bucket here. I'm going to add my sugar water. The sugar has been dissolved in 2 cups of water, so we're just going to add that in. We're going to stir it up, get that sugar all up in there, and move on to bottling. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop my hydrometer in there and take a final reading of its alcohol volume. We'll subtract that from the original alcohol volume, and it'll give us our total alcohol for this beer. Alright, so we got our final gravity. That was the word I was looking for. Final gravity and the original gravity. You take your original gravity, subtract the final gravity, multiply it by 13125 or something like that. And it appears that this beer has an alcohol content of 4.1%. So that's pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it all into the bottles. It's just like the other beer. Just going to fill this up. We're going to fill it up somewhere right in this area. And we're simply just going to give her a little cap. So that's going to be our finished product right there. Now I got, let's see, I got some of these brown bottles that I bought. These ones I'm going to have to actually cap. And I got every kit from Brewer's Best. Comes with 60 caps. I've never had to use 60 at one time. Let's see here. This one here, I believe, is a Alaska amber ale bottle. And you can use any bottles. So we'll do the same thing. Put a cap on that one. And we'll do that here in a minute. That's it. That's all my bottles. I already put a few away. I had that much left, so that wasn't worth bottling, so I'm just drinking that. It's very, very sour. So I guess that's good. I had to fill up a growler because I was out of bottles, but so they're going to basically just be putting these boxes for the next 2 weeks, and then actually it's not even 2 weeks. Christmas Day should be good to go. So that's it. That's the Brewer's Best Sour Pineapple Tart Sour Ale. Brewer's Best Sours Pineapple Tart Sour Ale. So far it seems to be a pretty good one. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks. So this is going to be the finished product of the sour pineapple sour beer. Nice, well fermented. Pour that in there. See, we got good carbonation. It's a lot of head. It's a lot of bubbles. Anyways, it's very sour. I've had it a few times. Yep, still sour. There's definitely a pineapple taste to it, but it is quite sour. So if you're into sour beers, I say give this Brewer's Best Pineapple Sour a try. Yeah, that's about it. Like, subscribe, share, and see you on the next one.